So I wanted to create a video that can give you all the tools you need to easily play rhythm guitar right away. If you can play your open chords, bar chords, and power chords reasonably well, you can play rhythm guitar with a band or just in a jamming situation. I know a lot of people get hung up on the fact that they feel like they don't have enough technical skill to get out there and start jamming with people, but this is really kind of overcomplicating a pretty simple subject. If you can play basic chords, you can hold down a rhythm. So in this video, I'm gonna cover 5 basic principles that you need to kind of tie it all together and get you ready for your first rhythm guitar gig. The main principles that you need to know are the basic chords, a decent sense of good feel and timing, some basic strumming and picking techniques, the basic structure of getting a good guitar tone, and how to be adaptable and be a good member of a band. All right, so the first principle we're going to talk about is knowing basic chords. And really all you need to know to play passable rhythm guitar are major bar chords, power chords, and open chords. We'll run through these real quick and then we'll talk about some nice to have chords that you might want to add to your repertoire. So the first chord we have is the major chord. I'm going to play a G major bar chord. And this can be moved up and down the neck. There's an A, B, C. Then we've also got the G power chord, which can be moved up and down the neck as well. A, B, C. And then the G open chord. And for the most part, these 3 forms of the same chord can be used interchangeably in rhythm guitar playing. But a lot of times they're going to have different applications. The G major bar chord has a certain tone to it, and we can play portions of it, or we can play it all the way through. The power chord is a little heavier and has certain applications in like rock and roll. And then the open version is a big, wide, lush sounding chord. Again, we can play within it or the whole thing. And so with the bar and power chords, we can play any song just by moving the same position up and down the neck. The open chords, it's a little trickier, but you should know all of the major ones: A, C, D, E, and G. Again, we can substitute those with a bar chord, but sometimes we want the sound of the open chord. Now, another nice to have chord is the minor form of the chord. So if we're playing a G minor, it looks like this. And that's a bar chord that can be moved up and down the neck. And then we've also got a minor form of the chord with our root on the A string. So this would be a C minor. So both those positions are nice to have, but not 100% necessary. And then another nice to have chord is the minor 7 bar chord. It's a little jazzier sounding chord, and for most rock and roll, you're not going to need to worry about it. But if you already know the other ones backwards and forwards, it doesn't hurt to add this into your arsenal. And a really great way to kind of practice these forms of the chords and embed them in your brain is a modified version of Rock the Casbah by The Clash. So we start off with a minor 7 chord, the D minor 7. It's a D because the root note is the 5th fret of the A string, which is a D. And then we've got the minor 7 form of the chord. And then we're going to go up to the E minor 7 and then back down to the D minor 7. And then we're going to go up to an A minor chord. So it's the minor form of the chord with the root note on the A string at the 12th fret, the A. So we go. And then we move down to a G major bar chord, which is actually rooted on the A string. So index finger at the 10th fret of the A string is a G. And then we're going to play the major form of the chord here, which is very similar to a power chord form when you're rooted on the A string. So. Then we're going to go back to the E minor 7. And then up to an F major chord. Back to the E minor 7. Finishing off with an A minor. And again, this is the minor form of the chord with a root note at the 5th fret of the low E string, which is an A. So you can practice this song to work on your minor chords, your major bar chords, and your minor 7 bar chords. And you don't have to play it fast. In fact, when you're learning new chords, it's best to play them slowly and really make sure that you're fingering it properly and hear the nuances of the chord. All right, then the next principle I want to talk about is feel and timing. And this might be even more important than knowing your chords really well, because the most important aspect of the rhythm guitarist is providing a complementary feel to what the rest of the band is doing. And so for that reason, it's important to know a few common picking patterns that you can use in a lot of different scenarios. So the first one is a common down, 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 up stroke pick pattern. And it sounds like this. we're playing down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, and then we're just gonna go up, down. Then we start over. And so this is a common pattern that kind of sounds like knocking on heaven's door, but can be used in a variety of different purposes with open chords. We can also do it with muted strings. So we're playing the same picking pattern just with the down up on the first two chords. We're going to mute it with our fretting hand. So that's two different variations you can use of the same strumming pattern. All right, so the next one is another variation of a strumming pattern that you can use in a lot of scenarios, and it goes like this. And so this is another one that's great with open chords. So we're gonna go down, up, down on the first chord, the G chord. Then we're going to switch to the next chord, the D chord, and hit another quick up. Then we're going to have kind of a ghost note here. We're not going to strum it. It's just going to sit there. Then we're going to come back with another upstroke. Then downstroke, upstroke. Then we're going to continue on and repeat that progression. So down, up, down, up, up, down, up. Then repeat, down, up, down, up, up, down, up. And the last one's a little bit more of a rock and roll style rhythm, and it goes like this. And so this can be used in a variety of situations like punk or garage rock. And so the pattern is down, down, up, down, and then we repeat. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. And we're going to play it fast. Or slow. And so it doesn't have to be these exact strumming patterns. You can look up your own strumming patterns, but have some strumming patterns that you're comfortable with, and make sure they're ones that can be used in a variety of different scenarios so that you're not trying to reinvent the wheel every time you're playing rhythm. And then depending on the style of music you're playing, you're gonna wanna have a grasp on arpeggios. And arpeggio is just a fancy way of saying playing the individual notes within a chord separately as opposed to all at once. And arpeggios can be used in a wide variety of patterns and types of music. So here's a few examples. And so that's Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult, and it's kind of a straightforward style arpeggio. For the most part, we're playing the notes of the chord in ascending order, straight through. And so you can see for each chord, we start at the root note and just move our way up across the chord. And here's another example of arpeggios. And so that's Pet Sematary by the Ramones, and you can see this is a little different style pattern, but a similar kind of concept. So we're playing a D chord first, and we're going up and then back. Then a C chord, same pattern, and then an F chord with a little different pattern. And both these arpeggios were used as intros or parts of the verse to kind of create some interest in the song rather than just playing the straight chords. And then here's another common arpeggio form you might want to know. And so slowly, here's the pattern that we're looking at. And so it's kind of an ascending, descending style pattern. And we can play with any chord. That was a D, we can go to a C. And I'm playing it with all downstrokes, but you can play with alternate picking, and it's also a very popular finger picking style pattern. So depending on the style of music that you're playing, you can be comfortable with these arpeggio patterns. If you're playing like a harder rock style music, you might not need to worry about it, but it is something good to know to kind of have in your back pocket in case you need something to add a little interest to a song. And so then the next principle you want to make sure you understand is having a good guitar tone. And this is kind of a subjective area. It's really going to depend on the type of music that you play. And the first thing we want to kind of fine tune is our tone between our guitar and our amp. So the first thing we want to look at is note articulation. Can we hear each individual note when we strum a chord? Is it muddy or too bright? If it's too bright, we can tweak the treble and the mids. If it's too muddy, we might want to work on the bass side of things. And a great way to test this is to strum through big open chords. And if our tone sounds pretty good and inviting, playing simple things like that, we're probably in a good starting point. Now, if you want to add a little bit more depth, you can have some reverb like I do. I'm playing through my Fender Twin Reverb 65 reissue amp, which has a nice warm reverb. If you don't have it built into your amp, you can get a reverb pedal. And then if we're playing within a band type situation, we're going to want to modify our volumes and tones to fit with the other instruments. And so one of the best places for the guitar to be heard is in the mids frequency range. So if we have too much bass in our tone, we might get washed out by the bass player and the kick drum. If we have too many highs, we might get washed out by the cymbals. So what I like to do is start off with a good clean tone like I just did, and then jam with the other instruments and then tweak our tone so that we can find our spot in the mix. If you have a very similar sounding amp to the other guitar player, like let's say two Fender Twin Reverbs, you might need to tweak the tones on each amp so that you can kind of find the place. Or you might like them very similar if you guys play like off of each other, a very complementary like counterpoint style rhythm playing. But a lot of times it takes just a little bit of tweaking. And then lastly for your tone, you're going to probably want some basic pedals on a pedal board. So at the bare minimum, you're going to want a tuner like this one. One of the best things you can do for your guitar tone is be in tune. And then some other kind of essential pedals are an overdrive and a distortion pedal. Now I prefer to use the tube distortion in my amps as opposed to a pedal. But when I'm playing through something like my Twin Reverb, which doesn't have distortion or requires you to crank it to the max in order to get some overdrive, I like to use the Ghost Drive pedal for my basic overdrive and either a Boss DS1 for distortion or a Rat pedal for distortion. Between these three pedals, you can get everything from basic overdrive to nice distortion to full-on fuzz. And then other nice to haves are things like chorus pedals. Or like I said before, a reverb pedal if your amp doesn't have built-in reverb. And then the last principle I want to talk about today is being adaptive and being a good band member. This also might be one of the most important things of playing rhythm guitar. Some of the great rhythm guitarists of all times knew their place in the song. So we don't want to trample over the other musicians, we want to complement the other musicians. And sometimes that might be playing something simple like this. Be willing to put your ego in the back seat so that the whole band can thrive. And also be adaptable. You might start playing open chords and realize that it's getting washed out by everything else that the rest of the band's doing and need to switch to power chords or major bar chords. Or maybe an A down here doesn't work as well as an A up here. Or maybe you need to play like an A triad. Whatever it is, don't be fixed into one mode. Be adaptable. And if you need to ask for time to figure something out or you're afraid you're going to play the wrong thing, just stop playing. Wait for the part to come around again and then pick it back up where you left off. And so one of the things that's going to help you be adaptable is to know the names of the chords, especially the major bar chords positions. So E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and then repeating back to E. And then A, B, C, D, E, back to A. If someone calls out a chord and you know these really well, you can always go to your major bar chord to hold down the rhythm until you can figure out something different that you might want to play to fill the song out better. This also works well if you have a good memory for the open chords and can play them quickly. And then lastly, don't get locked into playing the bar chords or the open chords fully with a strumming rhythm. Try switching from major to minor chords depending on the song. Try the arpeggios. You can even work on octaves. I have a short lesson on octaves which can show you how to use those too. And 99% with rhythm guitar, less is more. Again, the important part is the collaborative process with your band. find your place, and don't trample over everyone else. So that's it for this video. I hope it helped you become a better rhythm guitar player and give you the motivation to get out there and start playing with other musicians if you haven't already. Be sure to leave a comment if there's anything you think I left out or your best advice on playing rhythm guitar. And check out my website. I have my beginner guitar course up there now. It takes you from scratch, never having played guitar before, all the way up to rock and roll proficiency in 10 easy to follow videos with some cool songs to learn along the way. And I'll see you guys next time.